Hi, I'm Mark Horstman with Manager Tools, and I'm here to tell you that management is hard. Sorry about that. You probably already know that if you're a manager, and even if you're a direct and you've never been a manager before, you've got to figure that management is hard because probably your manager is not doing a very good job. Management is hard, and I was reminded of that recently at one of our effective manager conferences, where a number of very sharp managers who had been using our feedback model after having done one-on-ones for a while, they've been doing the feedback model for a while, and they came to us privately and they said, I'm so glad, individually they came to us and said, I'm so glad I came here because I realized something. I've been doing feedback wrong. I've been tending to focus on the past, on focusing on the old behavior, the thing the person did wrong, pointing out what they did wrong. We see a lot of this in technical managers and scientific jobs, IT jobs, engineering jobs, where the manager wants to prove to the direct that what they did was wrong. And probably the direct already knows it, but keep in mind that's not the purpose of feedback. The purpose of feedback in our model is to encourage effective behavior in the future. So focusing on the fact that you were wrong in the past, believe me, your direct knows it. And what they realize, these managers, and some of them weren't technical, what they realized is they were focusing on punishing or on reminding of the mistake. And they sort of had a burden lifted off and they said, oh, I get it now. We talked at the conference about the heart of feedback, that it has to come with love in your heart. And many people balk at that, and yet they realize when they let go of the anger or the frustration or the difficulty that they have with the direct's old behavior, they suddenly realize it's much easier to make the feedback more casual. And these are managers who have been doing feedback for quite a while and felt like they were getting good at it. And so if you're not doing feedback right now, you might be thinking, gosh, this is going to be harder than I thought. And in a way, it will be. Another thing we see a lot of at conferences is people who have come to the conferences. I really want to get better at being a manager. I'm doing one-on-ones. I'm not sure if I'm very good, but I've been holding off on giving feedback. And we say, well, how long have you been holding off on giving feedback? Well, a couple of years. And these managers are guilty or in danger of doing what I call making the perfect the enemy of the good, right? You've probably heard that phrase before. In other words, I'll wait to get perfect before I start doing it. It's the old ready, aim, 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 aim mentality. And most managers would probably say, I don't want to be a manager and do ready, fire, aim, and do things too soon. But on the other hand, ready, aim, 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 you'll never get better at being a manager. And I realize in listening to both of these takes, one not doing anything because they want to be perfect, the other one trying and struggling a little bit, that the fact is management is hard. Even on something as simple as feedback, which we can deliver in 5 or 10 seconds. And we can create maybe a small pinch in the relationship, but avoid a bigger crunch later on. Even that, for managers, for seasoned managers, for experienced managers, can be hard because we're not used to doing it. And so I was reminded again, management is hard. And yet, the fact is, Wendy Lord, our fabulous resume and credentials person, and I chatted recently, and we talked about Malcolm Gladwell's latest book, Outliers. And one of the things he talks in there, and there's also been a book recently, Why Talent is Overrated, talking about that if you want to master something, it takes 10,000 hours. Look, management isn't easy. It's not. And let's be clear, management is hard. And in a way, that's a good thing because the things that are truly valuable in life don't open themselves up to just anybody stumbling around in the dark. It takes time, it takes practice, and when you start getting positive responses from your directs, where before what you worried about was whether or not your directs would like you at all, when you start getting those positive responses because you've invested in one-on-ones, you've invested in feedback and coaching and many other things we recommend, you begin to realize the fact that management hard is probably a good thing. Never forget what Thomas Paine said, that which we achieve too easily, we esteem too lightly. Yep, management's hard, and in a way, that's a good thing. Keep at it.